Hello guys, before we jump into this week's video, I would just like to say a sincere thanks because we have reached 500 subscribers, which is a nice milestone. And just want to say I appreciate all the comments, suggestions, and all of you following this build. So let's continue with the videos and see you on the next milestone. Bye. Hello friends, welcome back. So we have the Manta in the other room because we had to move it. There was some other stuff happening, so this was the best way. Now I'm going to show you what the new assembly will be, because we are doing the rear arches, the Sills, aka the rocker panels, and also the rear of the car. Now we are still sitting on the same side of the car because it's the easiest way to do, and then we're going to turn it on the lift and then work on the other side. Now we're going to check out the condition of the car, so you'll kind of get the feel why we are changing certain parts, and then we're going to look at the assembly of how it will actually be assembled and which parts we're going to change. So here, this is the inner arch, the other one was cut off. It was both rusted out. As you can see, we have issues here and then also there. Here we had to cut out one big piece. Now we also have some rust problems inside. Both inner reinforcements are basically perished. Also the other one was very bad. Now as you can see, this is all very flexible right now, so we kind of have to work from the inside out. So we need to make our base reinforcement inside and then actually build towards the finish, so it will hold the measurements pretty nicely. Now as you can see right here, we still haven't put on the new seal. This is because we want to make sure that the measurements are okay. Now if we take a look at the assembly, this is it. I'm going to take you guys through it. Actually start from the back. This is the outer panel. This is pretty short one compared to what we had to cut out. So we might actually make a taller one. Use this for a template, you know, for the contours, and make actually a larger one because we had to cut out quite a lot of materials. And to be honest, this replacement metal isn't all that good. As you can see, it needs a lot of fine work before putting it on, so this might be self-made later on, but it serves as a template, so it's pretty okay. Now lower inside we have a reinforcement, which if we take out the outer archway that goes into the seal, is connected to the inner arch like this. So this one is this perished one, so we will need to change this one. And underneath, as you can see, this edge, this double edge with the inner one that I just showed you, there's another one inside. So this is this one. As you can see, it has some reinforcements pressed into it, so this will be okay. And this is joined in together with the inner arch. Now this will be basically here. As you can see, we still have a little bit of the edge left, so you can see where it meets. Stuff like this you shouldn't break off just because you still have the measurement here. The process will probably start in the inside, so we're going to repair this metal here and then this one, and then work towards the outside of the car. We also have a reinforcement that goes into the seal or the rocker panel. It will be located here, so this will be our reinforcement. And I think this is it, basically. Kind of a rough representation of what needs to be done and how it's going to be. Of course, we still expect some small bumps on our journey, so this is a rough plan, but we will see what we encounter once we start working on it. So let's put the car in the lift, and there's nothing to it but to do it. So we had to run because we're actually getting ready the doors to get repaired. You know the doors, Riders of the Storm. Okay, so anyways, we started brushing this off because it's a little bit bent. I got these doors pretty cheap, and we're getting the old paint off so we can mend it, but we're brushing it and suddenly a storm broke out in like 5 minutes. But you know, that's summer weather for you, and once you have exposed metal such as this, it's really bad if it gets rained on and then you store it, because it's going to rust like pretty badly. I think I showed you the rear axle when we brushed it off, and it's been sitting inside, but in like a matter of few days it already had surface rust, so you know, pretty annoying. So we are getting ready this to be mended. I'm going to brush it a little bit more, but I'm going to show you something interesting now. Okay, so this is how the jacking point will work. We're going to spot weld it here and then onto the floor of the car. As you can see, we have to make it like to fit the contour of the car. Now what is interesting is this plate here. This is not original here, but there's kind of a design flaw that I think should be corrected here, because when you're trying to lift the car, you're going to lift it by this, insert the jack here, or you know, the lift kit, but actually in the original condition this is only welded onto the floor of the car, so it's not connected to the A-pillar or anything structural, it's just connected to the chassis rails. So basically, if you have a little bit weaker floor panel and you start lifting it up, it can easily start going through the car. So I'm not actually worried about this, because this car will be taken care of and really maintained and stuff, but it's still kind of stupid that you're not lifting it up by the structural stuff like A-pillar. So we actually have made a connection that's going to connect the chassis rail, the jacking up stuff, to the A-pillar. So when you're going to be lifting the car, you're going to be lifting the whole structure, so the whole side of the car, and that we have an additional reinforcement in the A-pillar. This part of the car will be extra strong. So this plate that will connect those two are, I think it's 2mm zinced plate, so it should be good. So this is how it's going to work. This part is, I think, 5mm thick, so I have no issues with it. I think it's not going to rust through like in a very long time. This is I think 2 or 3mm, so I tend to do things a little bit stronger and more rigid than the original. I just think it's nice that once you have wrenched so many cars and stuff like that and see many designs, you kind of see the progression of the car design that went through and what the weak spots are, and you can kind of mend it. So it's not going to make anything for the performance, but it's still nice to have. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take the wire brush and we're going to brush off this stuff, so we'll only have the metal left. Then we're going to use this baby, Carspotter turbo. It's very important that you have a turbo. And I'm going to show you how this stuff is operated. So we're going to try to mend this door because it's a little bit bent. My dad kind of went to town with it with a hammer, so it's a little bit straighter than it was, but as you can see, it's still kind of wobbly. So we're going to do this now.
Malowniejszy tu. Esa es la línea que tengo.
И си връбваш туле, лечето те га одрва.
Тула, ¿no?
Да си га нагробва, не си правиш туле. So we have started with this line, started to bring this one out because then it's going to straighten up most of the stuff, and now we're slowly progressing it. This is the first time I'm using this machine and my father is showing me, and we now have to use this tip and we need to make it more pointy, so this is what we're going to do, a little bit of grinding and then proceed with work. So now we are going to use an angle grinder with a little bit of finer pad, and we're going to grind this off so we can get a feel with our hands to see for the final details where to actually spot it. As you can see, we have bumps out that are made by Carspotter. Now we're going to get those out. Okay friends, so this is it. We're going to continue with the door tomorrow or maybe the day after that, because when you're constantly rubbing it you kind of lose the feeling after a while, and you know, with stuff like this it's best to come back in a day or two and then do it again. So the parts for the construction of rear arch is now being treated. I have sprayed on some zinc paint because it can be welded, so it's kind of a weld-through primer, which is going to be a good base so these parts don't rust. As you probably saw, I used a brush such as this just to kind of get all the stuff off, and also because these parts are not that fresh, when they lie somewhere in the storage and stuff like that, they tend to get some small spots of rust. It's best to remove those before applying a base coat, because you know you don't sleep that well at night if you know that you've been lazy and you didn't spend 2 extra minutes to kind of prep stuff correctly, and then you know that you have painted over rust. Okay, this is where we're going to leave, and we're going to clean some stuff up and come back tomorrow or the day after that. So we will see each other in the next episode. Thank you for following and bye.